to American Cheating Housewives Edition. Unfortunately, if you are up on the lore, then you know exactly where this is going, but it all began with Brandi Glanville, who was a model, married to Eddie Cibrian, who was an actor who was like working, but not really. They were together from 2001 to 2009. They were a very, very, very beautiful couple. Like, I saw this pic of them a couple of days ago that I had never seen before and was like, okay, I see it. Brandi was that girl. Unfortunately, this is an American cheating story, so if you don't know, if you don't follow me, my playlist is below. American cheating is my term for what happens when two celebrities cheat on each other, and the person who has the affair marries the other person, and then it becomes taboo for anyone else to ever bring up the fact that they cheated, right? They are allowed to, like, get away with it, no one is ever allowed to mention it, and an important part of it is that the media helps them by, like, obfuscating the timelines. According to Brandi, Eddie Cibrian had been having affairs the entire marriage, but he met LeAnn Rimes, country singer, on the set of a Lifetime movie. They fell in love. She was married. He was obviously married. They, did the thing, and they met in 2008, divorced their spouses in 2009, were engaged in 2010, and were married by 2011. She first spoke about her affair in 2010. What happened is not who I am, but I do know how much I love him, so I always said I don't live my life with regret, so I can't, which is similar to a statement that another housewife recently put out, my least favorite housewife, the one who must not be named. She actually released a very similar statement saying that what happened happened, and she is choosing to move on even though she was the one who cheated. Unfortunately, Eddie was a serial cheater, and one of the people that he cheated with was one Sheena Shea of Vanderpump Rules fame. Without Eddie Cibrian being a prolific serial cheater, we would not have Vanderpump Rules, we would not have Sheena, Katie, Tom, Jax, the other Tom. Another thing that I found really interesting was that Brandi accused LeAnn of, like, social media stalking her, wearing the same outfits as her. Like, she would post pictures on Twitter or Instagram in, like, certain outfits, and then a couple of days later, LeAnn would post in the same outfits. She would go to the same places that Brandi was, and Brandi, unfortunately, if you watched Housewives, you know what I'm about to say, is, like, not the most stable of people. I don't know, obviously I'm not a therapist, I don't know, like, what is going on there, but in her books, she said she was very, 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 very destroyed by the end of her marriage, right? She was a model. She was like, the only thing that I wanted to be was like a wife and mother. And then when that was taken away from me, because she had partial custody of the kids, right? So she didn't even have her kids all the time. She sort of lost her mind. And we saw that happen on Housewives for 5 years. She was eventually fired. And like, I don't think that she is still doing well. Like, if you watch the Ultimate Girls trips that were on a couple of years ago, it's very clear that something isn't really right there. But again, I'm not a therapist. I don't know what is happening. An amorphous case of American cheating would be Eileen Davidson and her husband. She was married. They were both married when they met on the set of her soap opera, but she said that they only ever kissed once and then they both left their spouses for each other. She told her husband that she wanted to explore this relationship with Vince, and so they eventually got together. They were married. The reason that I don't love Eileen was because she came forward with this information and she said, I did have sort of an affair, but I left my husband for another person. In these videos, everyone asks me, what do you think is the appropriate, like, action to take, right? Because when I make my videos about Ariana Grande, I say, if you leave one person for another, you're still having, like, there's some emotional connection there, right? You don't leave your spouse for a stranger and you don't, like, start dating. And so it is a weird space. I obviously do not think that this counts at the same level as, like, Eddie Cibrian fully having a full affair and, like, marrying LeAnn and driving Brandi crazy. But Eileen brought up the information, and then when LVP asked her, oh, is that when the affair started? Eileen held a grudge for 3 years. She would keep coming after LVP saying, how dare you bring up my affair? How dare you bring up my affair? And the reason I don't like her is because, sweetie, you brought it up. You told us that you kissed this man while you were married to someone else. Like, obviously it's been 20 years. It doesn't matter. But she was so mad about it that it, like, really, really turned me off her as a housewife. Let me know if you guys have more stories of American cheating in the Housewives universe.